I'm delighted to be back with you and for us to spend a few minutes in some serious Bible discussion. A few years ago, I was ministering locally here in Boynton Beach, Florida, with a team. A young man came up for prayer, and as we started to pray, he suddenly began beating himself in the face. He balled up his fist and was slamming it into his eyes, and before we could stop him, it blackened his eyes. We did stop him. We had to physically restrain him and keep him from seriously injuring himself. Now, what was happening with that young man? He was experiencing suddenly what we are calling today trapped emotions. And I want to talk to you about that because in some measure, all of us have tucked away in our brains memories that are still there, that are producing emotions which we can't identify with current life. And so for that reason, we need the leadership of the Holy Spirit to guide us through such an exploration and ministry. Now, in the case of that young man who was beating himself in the face, he got delivered. First of all, he had a demon. But the demon was not there just on its own. It had an entrance point, and I think in his case came in childhood. Because one of the greatest doors that demons have in invading lives is abuse in childhood. A child can undergo rejection, serious rejection, and it has such long-term and lasting effects. And the church, tragically, I'm speaking now of most of the church, is totally blind to the reality of what Jesus taught regarding demons. Go to your largest theological seminaries here in America. They won't have a course on such a topic, tragically. And yet, in the congregations, maybe 60% of the people need deliverance ministry. At any rate, speaking on the subject of trapped emotions, this is such a vital topic. And you, I, all of us should avail ourselves of the opportunity of having someone else minister to us. Now, I frequently do that. I have a team of men that I love and that I cherish in the Lord. And I have them get with me periodically. And I say to them, I want you to do an inventory on me. Because we live in a world where we're constantly bombarded from television, from news media, and from every source with a lot of trash. And that impacts us whether we realize it or not. And the church, unfortunately, is not helping here. Now, the church in some areas is employing psychiatrists and psychologists and psychotherapists, and I'm for all of that. I'm not against any of it. But I want you to hear me carefully on this point. When you study the ministry of Jesus, he never sent disciples out, but what he specifically gave them power to cast out demons. We have the example in, I think it's Mark 5, when he came into Gadara, that area, and the maniac, what we call the maniac of Gadara, came rushing out to him. This was a man who was, in his day, totally insane, injuring himself. Now, Jesus immediately resolved his problem by casting out the unclean spirit. We need that benefit. But along in parallel with that is the fact that we need healing from trapped emotions. Now, what do I mean by that? Take, for example, you may be working and hit your hand with a hammer or some painful object. And in time, the pain goes away. But unknown to me and you, there is another injury below the surface that we don't see. Now, most of us have that from just the process of living. Our minds become affected, weighted with trial and difficulty and accusation against us and efforts that are brought against us. Most of us have to endure that. And we suffer then from these emotions that remain there unhealed. Ministry of the church. Your personal ministry to others should be conscious and aware of that emotions need to be brought to the surface. They need to be shared with a minister, counselor, and dealt with. Otherwise, they can, in time, produce physical and greater mental problems. My word is this: let's be availing ourselves of everything that the Holy Spirit provides. Now, how am I going to minister to others or to myself deliverance from trapped emotions? I recommend this. Someone minister to you, or if you don't have that benefit, get in a very quiet place. Spend some time just worshiping the Lord. Present yourself to Him and say, Holy Spirit, I want you now to come into the deepest recesses of my life and mind. Bring to light every hidden problem, memories of childhood, abuse, rejection, neglect. Bring them back. Let me now, as not just an adult, but let me now, as a believing disciple, trust in you to walk me through confrontation with those old injuries. And Holy Spirit, remove them from my life. Do you know that if we do that, genuinely, conscientiously, we will find at the same time many of our physical symptoms, physical problems disappearing. Jesus is the healer. He has left the Holy Spirit with us, and the Holy Spirit will work through us in our yieldedness, cooperation with Him, and bring us into freedoms we've never imagined before. Why do people compulsively drink? Well, it isn't just addiction that they've acquired now. Oftentimes it goes back to childhood when they were rejected by parents, family, loved ones, siblings, whatever the root cause. The important fact is this: the Holy Spirit can walk us safely through it to the end. That's my word to you for the moment. God bless you, be with you, help you, strengthen you, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.